everyone, Therese here. Man, the times we're going through right now. One of the main messages, so I keep asking my team, like, what is the message right now? Has the message changed? You know, anytime events are happening, I'm asking what's changed. Anything, like, is the trajectory different? Is there a different focus? And my team's been really consistent with the answer, and the answer keeps coming back to no. You are here to work on yourself, and meaning for everyone. That's the whole mission has always been the same. It is to do the spiritual growth work for yourself, and to remember who you are, that you are, you know, a beautiful being of sovereignty and light, and to remember all aspects of yourself, and to, you know, as we move through ascension, we actually are moving back through time as we move forward in time. It's really an interesting energy to actually experience. So part of it is cellular memories coming back online from past lifetimes, all the way up to, you know, the highest levels of who and what you've been as you're moving forward in time. I mean, so I shared a picture today on my Instagram, and I showed the inside of a succulent, and I said, this is what time looks like, because again, time being that spiral energy, it's not linear. We're not moving in just one direction. We're moving through a spiral, and it's like, as we move forward, we also remember the past, and as we bring these two together, we start to integrate all parts of ourselves. I know that's a complicated statement, but if you just sat and meditated on the idea of a spiral and all parts of you in time and space coming together, it would really start yeah, exactly. It would really start to help explain the energy and what you're feeling and why things are coming up, and the whole idea is to heal. So I keep asking, you know, are we supposed to be focusing on anything else? And the answer is always no. Focus on your personal growth. Focus on your understanding of what sovereignty is, what a sovereign being is, and your creator self. And really staying in the moment where everything's inside to out. The thing that I find interesting that's happening is there are a lot of external events that seem to pull on us and ask us to go in that direction, to start working on things externally. And these things feel really important and necessary to do. And yet, interestingly, what's happening to people, especially people who are highly sensitive and empathic, is they're feeling the weight of the world as they're trying to heal other people. They're trying to do the healing work of others for themselves, thinking, I think from a well-intended place, that if I work on this outside world, that's going to help me heal internally. And it's really, I mean, that does happen to a degree, but it really pulls us off path, and it lowers our vibration. And I've talked to several different people in a small window of time where everyone's like, I'm feeling this really low, heavy energy. Energy feels heavy. I feel weighted down. So it's really important to step back if you can and look at yourself and say, am I trying to fix things outside of me? Am I trying to, am I worried or thinking about other people's attitudes, thoughts, perspectives? And am I taking that on as if I have to do something about it? And if we get to that point where we feel like we have to convince, change, or persuade anyone else, then we're really pulling ourselves off track from the core work that we're supposed to be doing at this time, which is internal to external. So it's important that as big things happen, and I do feel like this is the year, guys. I mean, we're in go time. It's full game on, is what I'm saying. When we're constantly trying to fix, change, shift, convince, persuade the outside world, we're getting pulled out of our own polarity, our own karma, and that comes from a lack of trust. There's just simply, and I get it because I've done it too, but it's kind of a feeling like I just don't trust that working on myself is going to be enough here to create change. and yet it's crucial and it's critical. And when we get off track from that, when we get off track from our own personal growth journey, what happens is we depolarize a little bit, meaning our energy gets heavier. We get sucked into drama. We get sucked into lower feelings of judgment, of blame, of inequality, unfair, all the stuff that comes up from moving away from yourself and your own personal growth journey. Man, these things are buzzing around me right now. So if you've been feeling heavy at this time for any reason, just information, other people, watching people fight when you want them to come together, wanting to experience unity and yet finding yourself in judgment, first of all, hold space for yourself and start the healing work there, right? So whenever we see ourselves engaging in, even if it's just internal dialogue, right? It's not an external thing. It's just internally, like frustration, judgment at things. Let's step back. Let's look at that behavior, because then we're getting back on the path of doing the internal work. We're looking at it. Why do I feel triggered? Why do I feel like I have to take this on? Why do I feel this, that, and the other thing? And you're going to hold space for yourself to listen, right? So one of the interesting things around working with emotions is that we get really uncomfortable with heavy or dark emotions a lot. Anytime we go into that area, usually we're trying to desperately stick a band-aid on it, clean it up, get out of it, lighten the mood. And it's actually really important to stay with the heavier feeling and just acknowledge it and just be with it. Like, I feel judgmental, let's say, like that, or I feel frustration. So this goes back to, heart coherence breathing, where we're tuning in and we're asking how we feel, and then we get an answer. And instead of trying to change it or shift it, we simply just sit with it. And it's like, all I get is seeing the inner child, and it's like sitting with the inner child, and as it's having its moment where it has to express in a negative way, just by being willing to stay with it, it starts to heal itself. And I know that's a metaphor for something bigger there, but I'm just staying with that moment. So I stay with the heavier emotion. I don't insist on changing it. I stay with it. And then once I feel through it and I feel that center of peace again, I can then ask from there, what do I need right now? What do I need right now? And maybe you hear the inner child say, I need so-and-so to change their behavior. Well, that's something we can't control, right? Or I need such and such person to cool it. If you get that, keep asking. And the question I would ask next, if I got like some kind of externalized answer, I need so-and-so to change, let's say, then I would ask the follow-up question, what would that bring me? And then I might hear relief or peace or safety or security or whatever comes up. So that's what then I know that's actually what I really want. And when we can get that answer, the next thing we do is we don't have to do any activity or make that happen. We simply intend that towards ourselves. So if I found out that I needed relief, let's say, what I could then do is say, then I wish you relief. So we're listening to what the problem or the feeling is, and then we're listening to what we would like from that, and we're intending or holding space for it. Once we hear those things, then we've moved into that place of conscious awareness of what our needs and desires are in that moment. And again, we're not deciding we have to do anything about it. We're holding the intention that it will happen. But here's what happens next. As you do that, you then start moving in the direction of finding relief or finding security, meaning the next choice you make is probably going to be something that is going to bring you a sense of relief or security or love once you have intended that for yourself. So again, the message right now is just keep doing the inner work. It's going to be very, find the word for it. It's like persuasive. It's going to be very enticing, actually. In a weird way, it's going to be enticing to get off the internal path and focus on the external world. And notice when that comes up, do you trust doing the work for yourself? Do you trust that? Because remember, we are sending out a frequency all the time. And we can either be the one in charge of the music that comes out of us, or we can be used as a speaker for someone else. Really important to understand that. Either you resonate a frequency of your own music, or you amplify somebody else's music. But either way, you will be used in that way. So when I recognize that, when I get in touch with that, I'm like, well, shit, I want to be playing my own song. I don't want to play someone else's song. So again, it comes back to doing the internal work. And I know I sound like a broken record right now, but it's really one of those moments where the energy is going to keep increasing. This weekend, we've got the summer solstice with a new moon and a solar eclipse that creates a ring of fire in the sky. These are very strong frequency alignments, and this year is filled with these very auspicious alignments, which can be, the alignments themselves are not the determining factor of energy, it's how they are used. So if we are not conscious, if we're not fully embodied and choosing our frequency, we will amplify something else's frequency, right? So when we get these big alignments, they're this kind of like the cosmos saying, hey, here's a big opportunity. I'm giving you like a, it's like a Mario Kart power up, right? Like you're going to hit one of those like little boxes and get a boost of some sort energetically with the cosmic energy. And by the way, the Schumann resonance is like off the charts doing cool stuff right now. So the energy is ramping up to this weekend, specifically the window of the 20th through the 22nd. And it's really about embodiment. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that help. It's really about staying in your power and resonating the frequency you want to resonate, like that guy right there. If you're new to Karma cards, here's how we play. I have 3 decks here: the planets, signs of the zodiac, and the houses of astrology. And I've already asked my team, what do we need to know about this upcoming window of time? And I get 2 sets of answers, one in red for action and one in blue for outcomes. And how you play is you simply decide if you want an action related answer or an outcome related answer. Let me tell you the flavor of this week's reading. Okay, we've got Mercury, planet of the mind, and the ruler of Gemini. And we're in Gemini right now, and also the North Node is in Gemini during this time. So this is very significant. It really is about the local mind. So Gemini and Sagittarius are on an axis, and I call it the axis of education. It has to do with communication and learning and understanding. And Gemini is about the local mind. And what I mean about that is like the mind that you associate as your mind versus the higher self, which is what Sagittarius sort of represents, is higher learning, higher awareness of higher levels of your being. So when you think about your mind and what that means to you, Gemini is kind of represents that. Okay. So, but wait, there's more. So we've got it in Scorpio. He's a Scorpio. A Scorpio, which is the ruler of house of life, death, and transformation, house of mystery. And it's in the 12th house, which is about the subconscious mind and the things that we keep hidden from ourselves, the things that have been hidden from us, hidden information. So we've got mystery and hidden information. And the local mind, bum, bum, bum. I think that means that things are going to show up. And go ahead, go over there. In our minds that we were either You know, it's a chip off the old alien block here. So things are going to come up for us in our local mind that are related to the mysteries of life, as well as things that were kept secret or hidden, maybe from your conscious mind, maybe about the external world. I think more importantly, since the team keeps emphasizing it's about the work we're doing on ourselves, it's like the shit that's hidden in you that you still haven't seen yet. And trust me, it is there. It is. Even when you think you've worked through it, you'll find a deeper layer. It's like an unending onion. So I do think that kind of energy, when we go into that, that's pretty deep energy. So let's take a look at this. So red, for people choosing red or action, your spiritual action right now, 16th through the 22nd, is to communicate the extraordinary power of prayer, seeking oneness with all there is. Okay, so this specifically has to do with this massive window opening up this weekend, starting on the 20th, which is the new moon, solar eclipse, ring of fire. Eclipse energies open portals. And again, they're neutral energy. It's there, it's cosmic boost for us to use. How it's used depends on how conscientious you are of it. I do think that there are people who maybe have nefarious intent who will try to use it in a negative way and try to pull people with them. But there's also people of a positive intent who are aware of it, who are going to be using it in a positive way, and invite you to join them. So, and it's, again, it's all internal. So it says communicate the extraordinary power of prayer, seeking oneness with all there is, and really using that energy is simply connect with your higher self, connect with your source energy, understanding you're connected to you are but one beautiful expression of a powerful infinite being. So if you think of the ocean, right, you're one beautiful wave in this majestic ocean full of individual waves. And they're saying spend time with that. Actually communicate that, maybe to others, maybe to your, but really to yourself, is spend time in that energy where you're connecting to that powerful oneness and allowing more in. During this time of heightened growth and doing all the work, we're actually getting more of the higher self embodied. We're actually going to experience, or we can, I should say, it's a choice, but we can experience more soul embodiment. So your soul right now, old paradigm soul sort of floating above and around you, but we are getting all these energetic opportunities to be infused with soul, which to be infused with soul means our alignments need to be more aligned. Our personal alignments, meaning what we love, appreciate, accept about ourselves, how we treat ourselves, how we treat our body, how we treat our mind, how we treat our emotional self, how we treat our spiritual self, has to be more in alignment so that the soul can then inhabit the body, the temple, more deeply. So right now it's kind of like we have some embodiment, but we could have more. And by connecting our energy, by spending time on the spiritual growth, by trusting that that is enough right now to make the change we all want to see, that it really is, we are creating better alignments, and we're getting that bump right now, which would allow for deeper soul embodiment in the body. It's pretty cool. Mental action at this time: analyze the highest and lowest aspects of philanthropy. Analyze the highest and lowest aspects of philanthropy. This one's been interesting because I think part of it is like changing maybe how you see philanthropy. For a long time in the past, this is like way older paradigm, but there was only kind of one kind of philanthropy that I really saw being pushed or touted. And it was about giving mass amounts of money in one direction or another, when really philanthropy is how you're taking care of your soul brothers and sisters on this planet, all the people here with you. So how are you taking care of each other? And the highest and lowest aspects of that is, the high aspect is that you're doing it in a desire to be greatly of service, but the low aspect is that you can overgive, you can be easily used, you can be easily deplete your own stores and not be restoring them, because you're seeing so much suffering, pain, and hurting that it doesn't feel right to restore yourself. But when we do that, we actually go out of alignment with service to others, because we've stopped including ourselves. So to be on a service to others path does not mean that you are only thinking about other people and you exclude yourself. It means that you're thinking holistically, and everybody, including you, right, gets the services, the care, the appreciation, the respect, the love, the value that they need. So one of the questions here then is thinking about how do you go, have you gone out of service to others by not including your own feelings, not including your own emotional state, your spiritual hygiene, meaning how high you're vibrating, your body, neglecting yourself because it's just too tough right now to deal, and everything's a hot mess, and it's suddenly you start neglecting yourself because of that. So they're asking to pay attention to that. Physical action at this time: let your mind tell you how to control the situation and keep your involvement hidden. Okay, see, this is one of those answers where it's like, what the? Let your mind tell you how to control the situation and keep your involvement hidden. It really goes back to working on yourself, keeping your involvement. So again, with the external, I've got to go fix things, I've got to go fix people, I've got to go fix situations. That's very external, outward expression. Then you're telling people, you have to change, you have to behave this way, your behavior, blah, blah, blah. All of that stuff. Very external, very boisterous, in your face, loud. Right now it's saying, let your mind tell you how to control the situation, meaning it's your perspective, it's how you're viewing it, that you are going to be able to improve the energy, the frequency, and the situation, the energy you're putting into it, the kind of energy, whether it's high or low vibe, it adds to it. I mean, you might be thinking strongly positive, like I care thoughts, but with radiating so much negative energy that you're actually contributing to the negative collective, which we all do. We all do that because when we feel anger, resentment, injustice, fury, all of that, right? And it's because we're looking at something that's not right, that's happening. And we feel this overwhelming negative emotion. We don't necessarily look at that energetically and go, well, that negative emotion is translating positive. It's not. Especially when it comes out as like backlash, then it stays low and it's like pennies. It's like I see all these coins just rolling into a negative energy bank, increasing the energetic frequency of a negative agenda or a negative timeline, right? Negative timeline. So when we're bringing it back locally to the local mind, to ourself, and we are focusing on, one of my favorite statements from A Course in Miracles is, I could see peace instead of this. I used it today actually when I was having just a reaction to something, and I was letting my imagination get carried away from me. And I was going down a negative thought spiral about just things that weren't even happening, which we do. We have these fake arguments, right, in our heads where we just let it go, and it's negative spiraling. Nothing's happened externally, but we're going on the mental pre-matter template of a negative experience. So the statement that I put it on a post-it, it's like all over the place, is, I could see peace instead of this. It's not telling me how to think, and it's not demanding I change, but it is reminding me that there is another option. There's my team. And when when I allow that to happen, I suddenly open the mind back up. I open my energy back up. I allow myself to stop putting little frequency coins in the negative energy bank, and I start going neutral again. And as I move neutral, I can then start to move positive if I choose to. So that is a statement that's very powerful, that can help stop when you have one of those backslides into negativity, because we just get triggered or events happen that feel overwhelming. Spiritual outcome at this time is the awareness of purification to resurrect your faith. I think that one's pretty straightforward. It's sort of like shaking off, coming out of a bad dream and recognizing that you were in a bad dream, and you're kind of like, okay, that didn't really happen. I don't have to go there. And you process it and you start to come back to yourself. Wow, the energy right now is just, see, this is what happens when the Schumann resonance is high, especially little kids, animals and kids who are more connected to the subconscious mind fully express the energy coming through. So there you go. All right. The mental outcome at this time: many thoughts about or from the secrets of hidden tendencies. Many thoughts about or from the secrets of hidden tendencies. And you can see like my mom tolerance is lower today too. So this has to do with like, as we come back to ourselves and we're doing our own emotional growth work, we're in the body, we're allowing ourselves to feel what we feel without demanding change, and we're asking ourselves what it is we need without demanding action. What we find out is all the shit that's triggering inside of us that wants healing, that is not in alignment, that's totally out of sorts. We start to learn about those parts of ourselves. And then we have to deal with it's kind of like opening. What it feels like is you do a little digging, right? And you see this little box. As you get the box, you're like, oh my gosh, here's a treasure. And you open it up and it's like this old lunchbox from like 1984. And you're like, damn, whatever's in there is rotten and it is funky. And now you have to deal with that. That's the metaphor they're giving me right now. So it's kind of like you're digging into a certain set of unhealed emotions, only to find deeper unhealed emotions, all of which need to be dealt with, which you have the ability to do. And the good news is there's so much energy to help us process quickly right now. So you will be able to do it. But it's also going to be kind of funky. My team is just lighting up right now. It's just like ping, ping, ping. It's going to be funky. So kind of we're in this sort of like healing / funky zone. See, look at how little I look now because I'm sitting all the way down. Okay, so we're in this we're in an area where we're in deep healing waters. Great things are happening. At the same time, it's going to get funkier before it actually feels better. It's like relief, deeper diving kind of energy right now. The physical outcome: many words resulting from the power of large institutions and overwhelming events. Many words resulting from the power of large institutions and overwhelming events. So yeah, more big things are coming energetically. I was just listening to someone else talking about the waves of ascension. Corey Good, if you've ever found his work or followed his work, he often talks about this. And he was saying that right now, we're currently in about wave 8 or 9 of 13 waves of intensity. And it's not about events per se, it's just about the fluctuations of energy as we're moving through. And each wave gets progressively more intense. So just as soon as you start to adjust to this level of intensity, it's like, it's like someone turns that volume up a little bit and you're like, that's how you're feeling right now, I'm sure. Like we're all feeling that. Like can it get any crazier? And the answer is yes, it can. But at the same time as that, please don't let that get you down, because the universe is all about balance. So as the intensity goes up in craziness, your ability to move through it intensifies as well. And you become, more parts of you open up. And as you just do the internal work, more and more abilities to move through this with ease and grace come online. But it really is about digging in there and being willing to look at what you find and trusting that doing that work is the work. It is so confusing and distracting at this time. And one of the main messages that I've been passing on for a while here is that it's going to get more confusing if you focus on the outside world. The information is going to become, we're all looking for clarity. And if we're looking outside, we're looking in the wrong direction, and it's only going to give more frustration, headache, confusion, and it's going to feel maddening to go in that direction. And yet that direction is also going to call to you and say, you have to be here. You have to deal with this direction. When really it is about doing the internal cleanup. So again, subconscious mind, the subconscious mind, when that gets in order, everything else does get in order, because the subconscious mind is what processes everything that you're going through. So I liken it sometimes to organizing everything that's hidden. So if you were to go to your closet or go to a drawer, go under your bed and start organizing that with the intention, if you need to do something external, do that. Go someplace and start organizing something hidden. A closet, a drawer, all the closets and drawers. With the intention that as I do this, I'm also helping to organize my own subconscious mind. It really has a powerful effect that the subconscious mind works symbolically. It's not language-based or logical thought-based. In fact, it's more powerfully affected by symbols and symbolic energy. So when you're aware of that, you can start using that type of approach with your own subconscious mind to have a more powerful connection to it. And as that starts being programmed by you, it deprograms any other subconscious programming that has been placed upon it. So here's the thing, subconscious programming has been placed upon us. We don't notice it. It's subconscious, and we don't have to be aware of it for it to work on us. All we have to do is claim the space back. It's kind of like, this is my seat. I sit here. You can't. That's it. That's all you're doing when you are conscientiously working with your own subconscious mind. So that's really the message here. Mystery, subconscious mind, what's hidden, and specifically the local mind, your mind. So from the 16th through the 22nd of June, especially if you can spend time with that area and claim your seat, claim your subconscious mind, say that it is yours to garden. That's what's coming up in my mind. It's yours to garden. And notice how you start to feel a shift in yourself. You're going to feel more at peace, more grounded, and a deeper sense of control and understanding of yourself. And then your perspective shifts and things start to shift outside of you. It really does work that way. It's inside to outside. Thank you so much for being here with me during this weird reading, but you know what? It's kind of perfect for how off kilter it has felt lately. So I'm going to let it be like this because this is the reality. It's off kilter right now. I hope this message helps you. I hope it brings you so much love and peace. And I'm right here with you, sending you so much love and positive energy and a reminder of how powerful and amazing you are. So, mwah, lots of love. Bye. Thank you for watching. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell so that you know the next time I release a new video. Until then, stay magical.